Hi there, it's Janice Thompson with, from jazzledazzlecrafts.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I work in Scotland. And I've come on today to share with you another wee Wednesday workshop. Now, I mean, I'm not an original thinker. I've done card making and arty, texturey things for a lot of years. I used to play with oil painting, watercolour painting, acrylic painting, mixed media things, lots of other arty things, and I've learned bits and pieces as I go along. I'm not particularly good at any one particular thing, but I just enjoy the process, and I enjoy texture, which you can build up with stamps as well. So I've been sort of thinking about stamp sets that I haven't used in a while, and I thought it would be nice to use One Wild Ride but make it girly. It's usually used for a masculine card, well, more commonly used for a mask, and I thought I would make it a girly one because, you know, all bike riders are not masculine, be they male or female. There are some bike riders who are really quite feminine and like feminine things such as pink and flowers and lace and things like that. So, and they also enjoy the thrill of the bike ride. So that's what led me to use this set. And I have to say, I have been watching a demonstrator on YouTube who I greatly admire. I really like her style and I've learned a lot through watching her. Now, I'm not directly copying her. She is the Artful Stamper, Ruth Trice. She's a UK demonstrator as well. I will put a link to her videos in the bar below. Down below you will find a link to the Artful Stamper. If you like this kind of thing, have a look at what she does. She's really clever, and I certainly admire her and would like to do some of the things that she comes up with. But I'm heavily inspired by her work in this card today. I'm not copying, I'm not actually using a technique that I didn't know, but she reminded me of things that I like to do. So for this card, I am, as I say, I'm acknowledging that I have been inspired by Ruth, the Artful Stamper. So let me stop rambling and let me get on. This is a bit messy. If messy's not your thing, sorry, I forgot to say I'm using One Wild Ride, but I'm teaming it up with Southern Serenade because of the lace stamp in particular. There's two lace stamps in here that I really like. So I'm going to combine the lace with the texture stamp that's and the tire tracks that are in the One Wild Ride, and I'm going to play and I'm going to do a bit of embossing for you. So I've cut my bits of card. Here's my card. I'm using Berry Burst. I'm using that. Here's another reason I'm using these colours. These are the girly colours, I think, anyway, from the colours, what do you call them? The in colours that will go out this year at the end of May. And so I've taken the three sort of pinky type warm colours from that, which is Berry Burst, Fresh Fig and Powder Pink, and I'm using them in this card. And as you see, I have had a little bit of a practice, and you can see the state of my fingers. There's sponging, there's embossing, there's stamping in this. So I'm just going to sit down so that I can just, right, so I've cut card here. When I say I've had a bit of a practice, I haven't actually made a card, so I'm kind of, so I've cut a topper, a piece of white, Whisper White for a topper, and I've cut a piece of Whisper White for stamping on, and other than that I've got a card blank in Berry Burst and a bit to mat this on in Berry Burst as well. Okay, so I'll pop the Berry Burst bits to the side for when we're making up the card, and these are the bits we're going to stamp on. This one we're going to do first because we are going to emboss on this, and while we're letting the embossing dry, we'll be able to, we'll stamp that bit. Forget everything today. Right, okay, so I am going to put a bit of texture on here first with Fresh Fig. I've decided to work with Whisper White. You could actually do this onto the powder pink card, but I think you just get that wee bit more oomph in the colour from starting off with some white in the background. So basically just randomly sticking some of this grunge around, and I'm doing this in the Fresh Fig. Okay, maybe a bit more, and I would take some petal pink, powder pink even it is, that's in this set. And I'm going to try to put some tire tracks in. This is just giving some background texture. Alright, and then I'm going to cover all of that over with lace and Berry Burst. Might go in again and add these colours. I'm just building up. As you see, I'm building up texture here. So I'm now going to use the lace stamp. Just with the bigger stamps, I sometimes find it's easier to go take the pad to the stamp. And I'll stamp it twice so that we're getting different tones and different colours. Overlap's fine, it's just want to cover this card with some texture. Just there's a bit of the corner there, just take the white off. There is white will still be there, but I'm just, as I say, and then I'm going to come in again with this grungy kind of I'm using Fresh Fig for this and just sticking it anywhere randomly. As I said, I'm just building up texture. Not even looking sometimes when where I'm stamping, I'm just stamping it. And see how it gives it a bit of depth? Because you've got different things to look at. So, do we need any more? I might just take the tire tracks again. Stick with the powder pink. Come in. There's no rhyme nor reason, I'm just building this up. It's very random. Quite actually therapeutic just to... Okay, I might just take the text, this grungy one, and use it with the Berry Burst as well. Add some Berry Burst in with all these wee dots. So I'm going to clean that off a bit with my... Well, a Scottish word would be manky chamois, because that's basically what it is now. Need to get that washed. This won't necessarily show up on the camera, but it is, again, adding some more depth here. So it's just adding colour but not solid colour, just... Right, I think that's enough depth and texture just now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my heat gun and dry this off, because we're going to do a bit of embossing on here. I'm going to use clear embossing here. So I'm going to put all my stamps out of the way for the moment. Need to give this a dry off. So just going to heat up my heat gun. I'm going to bring in some scrap paper here. If I get heat on my grid pad, it makes my sheet go bobble. That makes it look all undulating. I'm just going to make sure this is dry because I'm going to put embossing powder on it. At home you wouldn't need to use the heat gun, just do your stamping and then go away and leave it to dry for a while. Just to make sure, because if the card is damp at all, the embossing powder will stick where you don't want it to stick. Quiet just now. Right, so I think that'll be dry enough, but I'm going to take my embossing buddy across it as well. Just to make sure. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the bike stamp from the One Wild Riding and my Versamark ink. I'm just inking up the stamp, giving it a good coverage. Really needing to re-ink my Versamark, but I can't find my wee bottle of re-inker. Some tidying up is required. So anyway, I'm going to stamp this about 4 times. This is just a background and this is just for a bit of more texture in the background. So plenty of ink in. Can't really see that well where you're stamping when you're stamping with Versamark. Just have to kind of remember where you were. And once more. Another one up here. Okay, so that's some sticky Versamark on. And now, where's my embossing powder? My clear stamping emboss powder. Just sprinkle it all over. And then move it about. This corner's okay, so I can use this corner to hold it because there's no stamp. Oh, hope I've not left any ink lying because I've spent embossing powder flying all over. Alright. I don't know if you can see that powder or not, but I can see it is on there. And lay that aside till I put the powder back in the tub. And of course, I've used my scrap paper with the fold in the wrong direction. But hey, I'll just try and get it back in the tub so that I've got it to use next time. And I'll bring in the heat tool again. So, oops. Heat it up a bit, I think is better. If you get it quite warm before you offer it to the paper, it doesn't kink as much, curl up quite so much. becoming completely translucent. And a bit shiny at the moment, but bear with me. Right, so I'm just going to let that, I think I've just need to try, I don't know if you can see, but I think there's a bit here that hasn't completely melted, so I'm going to bring that back. I think we're done now. Let me see. Very difficult for you to see. I think I've got the impression of the bike okay there. So I'm going to pop this aside to dry till the embossing powder dry properly, and then I'm going to stamp on this little bit. I'm going to emboss on this too, and I'm going to show you a wee trick. So to get, I want a berry burst bike, but I'm going to put, I don't have berry burst embossing powder. So what I'm going to do here, I'll put Versamark on my stamp. Make sure there's a good coating of Versamark on. And then I'm going to take my berry burst and add some berry burst ink on top of the Versamark. And then I'm going to stamp here, right on here, just popping my bike on diagonally on my paper. Well, with a bit of a slant anyway. So what happens is, because I've put the colour on last, the colour hits the paper. Oh, it's not very good, is it? That didn't work very well, Janice. Okay, so we'll try again. We'll just turn it over. Okay, I'll clean the stamp off. Of course, if I'd used my Stamparatus, I would have been able to just do that again. Right, clean the stamp off. Dry it off. Start again. Right, plenty of Versamark, then I'm going to need plenty of colour. Okay. Time, hopefully. Second time lucky, maybe. I'll just press it down firmly. Just because I'm doing something a bit different, it's deciding not to do. It worked fine when I practiced. As soon as you switch the film on. Right. So Janice has managed to get ink on the sides of her stamp because I over inked. Very good. But do you know what? I'm going to emboss this and cut it out. Nothing will be wasted. So the Versamark should be on top, and I should be able to get this to stick. I think we'll just fussy cut the bike out. Right, so let's hope the embossing powder sticks this time. Yeah, so you can see it's gone pale, so it's covered in embossing powder. So I'll just pop this back in the pot. along with what I've spilt. Not my day. Right, I need to get this as well. I'm going to switch the video off, tidy up and then come back. Okay, so I'm back again. I tidied up the embossing powder that I had spilt. Then when I switched back on to start again, the battery indicator light was going. So I've changed batteries. So hopefully we should get this card finished in this tea. I'm sitting down just a bit here. So I had put the embossing powder on. I've managed to over ink around the edges. I hadn't checked the sides of the stamp. And pressed too hard. I think it was because I was trying to get more ink on. So I'm just going to emboss this and then quickly fussy cut it out. Okay, so heat up the embossing tool again. So the bit of clear embossing on the bike makes it quite vibrant. There's just a bit here not melted properly. I'll bring this back in. So, as I say, I'm going to let that dry and then fussy cut it out a wee bit, and the embossing will make that easier to do because I don't like this bit. So what to do with this is what, no it's not, where's the bit that this was going to mount onto? This was going to mount onto there. So I think we could do just a bit of embossing on here too, couldn't we? So we could use white emboss powder if I had it. I really am making this up as I go along. Does anybody know where my white embossing powder is? Yes, here it is. So we'll do the greeting, which I am using here as Hope Today is One Wild Ride. So I'm going to pop that in the corner there. I'll use my buddy. Basically a wee wet embossing workshop really here today. So I'm going to verso mark this. And then hopefully this will be up the right way, because you know what I'm like. This isn't one of the new cling mount stamps. Hope Today is One Wild Ride. I'm going to do this with the white embossing powder this time. And there's just I just knocked that bit off with my fingernail that I didn't want there. A wee bit stray. So get this back in the pot, and then we'll heat up my embossing tool again. day is one wild ride. And if I'm going to fussy cut this and just... I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do. Yeah, I think it'll just stick on like that, it'll be fine. But I thought what we can do here is just put a bit of texture, tone on tone stamping, just to give it some tire tracks and some texture. So again, just take the tire track stamp, this just put some tracks across the card there, just with the same colour, so it just gives a bit tone on tone. And then just quickly cut this bike out. I'm not going totally in, I'm just going to just kind of cut roughly, really just to get away from those dreadful marks that I made, but I didn't want to not use what I've cut out, so I'm just leaving just a little wee border around so you can still see the bits of grunge. Wasn't quite what I intended, but you know, life is not always what you intended it to be. You start out on one path and you end up on another. Neither of them are wrong. That's how my crafting goes as well. That was all a bit deep and meaningful, wasn't it? Fussy cutting takes a wee bit of concentration for me. It's quite a grungy kind of stamp this, it's not a solid image, which is good because again it's lovely textures that I like. Okay, so just get it to how you like it. And I'm just going to stick my bike on here. I'm cool with that. What do you think? That's fine to me. I think, shall I put that on with, no, I'm just going to stick it on with glue and I'll maybe now what I was going to show you is just, I stamped over the tire tracks over the top of my white embossing, but if I just give it a wee rub, it'll make the word in stand out and takes the ink from the embossing. There we go. There's the topper ready to go. I'll just leave that to dry there. And I'm going to bring in back in my background, and I'm coming in with the fresh fig ink here, and we're going to try and make the bikes appear in the background. So I'm going to load up, I've just cut a wee section out of one of our sponges, and I'm going to come in and add a deep colour around the bike embossing. And you'll see the bike start to appear once we put the dark colour in. But by adding the dark colour with the sponge, we're not taking away all that lovely depth that I built. We're just adding to it. But you can see the bike starting to appear now that I've made the dark background dark. You keep rubbing in and adding extra colour. but you can still see all your texture. So what do you think of this sponging and embossing? And it's not a quick and easy card by any means, but it's a fun card. It's easy, nothing complicated, it's really just arty stamping really, and I love it, really love it. So just adding a bit more around the edges. Remember, you can take colour away. You can't take colour away, you can add more, but you can't take it away. And you see how the texture underneath is remaining? And the lovely colours under the clear embossing on the bikes just stays. But even on the bits I'm making dark, you can still see all that stamping underneath and all that lacy texture that I built up. Sticky fingers I've got here. I like that, I really like it. And I'm going to bring my wee microfiber cloth in again and just polish up, polish the bikes. That makes them pop more, see? So go over and have a look at what the Artful Stamper does as well. She did a really nice one with the balloon stamp set. What, I don't know where my balloons are, so I can't tell you. I never can. Yeah, Lift Me Up, it's called the set. So anyway, I love this. Look, what a fab background is that. And then I've got a topper here. Because I'm actually going to layer this on, I think, onto some white, because I think I like, just looking to see if I've got a scrap of white to fit on here, and it's just because I want it to pop a bit. Or there is actually a way I can deal with this. I can show you some more embossing. Are you up for some more embossing? Right, see if I just take my Versamark around the edge here, right around the edge, make the edge quite sticky. Right, and then I'm going to use, is this white or clear? That's clear. Where did we put the white one? And then the white embossing powder. Let's just get our paper with the folding in here. Real messy stuff today, isn't it? I can just take, oh, we'll flick that off, don't worry. I don't want all this extra stuff that I've got here, so flick it off. If necessary, bring my paintbrush in if I have to. That I probably need my brush in because I had glue up there, so that's why that's, didn't think that through very well at all, did I? That Janice today is just how to make one big mess. I'm going to have to actually scrape that off. What can I scrape it off? Oh, if I knew where all the bits of my tool were, I would be able to. Don't know where the flat bit is. Oh, here it is. So where it's got the pointed bit, it's got a flat bit, and I think I might be able to just get that powder away from there where I don't want it to be. I'm making a real mess, but I'll stick it back where I want it in a minute. wee brush as well. Right, so there's a glue dot stuck to my Wink of Stella and my paintbrush stuck to that. How does anybody else get themselves in a real clert? Right, I'm just going to have to be careful with the heat tool then. Right, let's just take the edge back around. Just going to try and not get any heat on that where I don't want it. Right, lay that down for the moment. Embossing powder. Maybe I should have just cut a layer of white card. I'm making this into quite a job here. Okay then, let's see what happens. So I've melted around. I do have still got a bit of a mess there. Have I got a scalpel? See if I can just... Obviously you can take more care with yours, but I have melted some embossing powder and give it a nice wee edge there which will pop it up. So I'm just going to make up this card and then clean up and let you see what you think, because otherwise this is going to run out of time and it will be the longest video ever. What do you think of this effect though? I have to say I love it. I really do love it. And I'm just going to glue this on today. You could raise it up with dimensionals. It's gonna... I never rub on the inked piece itself. Take the back of my card and rub. And then that just makes sure that's nice and flat and contact was made with the glue. And then I'm just going to pop this kind of at an angle, a jaunty angle as they say. Right, what a mess. But I need somebody willing to come in and clean up at the back of me when I'm crafting, really. So what do you think? Apart from my little mucky mess here, I will actually go on with my scalpel and I will get rid of that, but or else I'm binning the card, I'm not bothered. But I've just obviously I will line it inside and decorate it as well. But what do you think of the embossing? That's what it was all about, was the embossing today. And then, do you know, like emboss resist with the ink, and you saw all the you now can see all the texture underneath. And to make this more, the bite more vibrant, I have clear embossed that, and I showed you a way to get coloured embossing so you still get that nice shiny finish. So thanks for sticking with me and all my mistakes. But do you know what, at the end of the day I've ended up with a perfectly acceptable card, even though there are mistakes in it, that things that I didn't intend to happen. But do you know, that's what crafting's about. And do you know, sometimes new techniques are born from what we think are mistakes. They're not mistakes, they're happy accidents. But learn from me and check the side of your stamp if you're putting a lot of ink on. And make sure you're not going to add lines that you don't need. Because actually, as you see, if you see down here, I've done it down here as well. So let me just take this sheet away and let you see properly. You do make a mess, so you need some scrap paper, or this red paper pad is really good for that. There you go. So hope today is one wild ride. Mine has been one wild ride so far. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Let me know what you think of this technique, and let me see anything that you do using this emboss resist technique. Please subscribe, and please share with any friends that you think might be interested. If you push the bell icon, you will get notification when I bring out another video, which is likely to be tomorrow when it's 3D Thursday. Thank you so much. See you next time.